Good morning and welcome back to the Modern Dodo here on YouTube. Excited to be filming another version of my YouTube preview of what to watch for the week ahead. The past week's been a little bit of a crazy one, so I usually film this video here at my home. As you can see from the window behind me, a lot of weeks it's bright and it's sunny. Today it's definitely gloomy. And I'm shooting this at about 11 a.m. By the time I publish it, which will be later on a Sunday evening, it's probably going to be a lot rainier. And actually, WrestleMania will hopefully be happening because we are under a severe thunderstorm watch. And it's just now starting to rain. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with WrestleMania. Last night, Saturday night, night one of wrestling action, it rained really, really hard about an hour before things were start to go on air, and it led to a slight delay. They were able to make it happen, and everything went off without a hitch from my understanding. I'm sure there was some drama that none of us will ever see or know about. But today poses a much larger threat because we are, let's call it 9 hours from the start of broadcast. And it's definitely going to be a rainy day, which will make their setup and preparations a bit difficult. But that's for the current week, and by the time I publish this, that'll be for last week. So let's take a look at the week ahead. We're going to start with Monday, April 12th. And if I'm being honest, it gets off to a slow start. And I looked at the reason why last week got off to a fast start, and it was because there was like 4 baseball games all on the ESPN series of networks on Monday. That's not the case this week. And as a matter of fact, it's sort of odd because it's only, let's call it the 3rd week of MLB action, and there's really not a lot of exciting games on the sports TV schedule this week in terms of baseball action. You're going to have to wait till we get all the way till Sunday until I highlight one here on this on my YouTube channel here. So let's jump into Monday, April 12th. There are 2 games that I want to note. One of them on the ice, one of them on the court. The first one on the ice at 7 p.m. The Maple Leafs versus the Canadiens. I've highlighted it a few times here and on my website, themoderndodo.com. That's that Canadian division with the realignment they've done this year due to the pandemic to cut down on travel. And the Maple Leafs and the surprising Canadiens have had a lot of head-to-head matchups. So they'll be going in and dropping the puck and facing off against each other again on Monday. And on the hardwood at 7:30 p.m., the 76ers versus the Mavericks. So certainly 2 exciting teams there with a lot of young talent. Doncic versus Embiid. Certainly something worth checking out. What's definitely worth checking out is the schedule when it flips to Tuesday, because on April 13th at 3 p.m., don't forget these are all going to be on Paramount Plus. The Champions League returns. And these are leg 2 matches of the quarterfinals. So leg 2 of the quarterfinals at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. We've got Bayern Munich at PSG. Now, that's probably the game of the day and quite frankly the game of the week because, again, as we're in second leg matchups here, we can start looking at the aggregate. And Bayern has 2 goals. Those are home goals, and they're going to be traveling to PSG. So Bayern is traditionally a powerhouse, but they're going to need to go at least 2-0 on Tuesday to catch back up to things and make it interesting because it's really going to be difficult for them to get to catch up to PSG with those 3 away goals. The second game, FC Porto 0 at Chelsea 2. Again, Chelsea has 2 away goals. I think Chelsea just outclasses them, so I'm going to be watching that Bayern versus PSG matchup. Now, when we jump into Wednesday, more Champions League action, also at 3 o'clock on Paramount Plus. The big game, I think, Man City at Dortmund. That game is 2-1 on aggregate. And that's important. I shouldn't short that one goal because it really is important. If Dortmund were to score, the goal would go to 2-2, and Dortmund would have the lead based on away goals. So that one could get really interesting really quick. And I'm going to bet that it does. That's just because that's how soccer works. So the other game, Real Madrid 3 at Liverpool. Liverpool's been banged up this year. They haven't been the same self since Van Dijk went down early in the season. I think the Man City Dortmund matchup is going to be the one that's the most exciting this entire week. So that's definitely my recommendation for what to watch. Later that evening, Nets vs 76ers, 7 o'clock on NBA action. On Thursday, we've got the Europa League. There are 4 matches. Again, these are all second leg matches. And as we saw last week, the Europa League fixtures all occur at the same time, 3 p.m. once again on Paramount Plus. There's going to be 2 things that you want to look out for this one. The first is Ajax v Roma. That's the powerhouse matchup of this draw. So Ajax is traveling to Roma, and they are currently trailing 1-2. So Roma does have 2 away goals in that matchup. So it's going to be a tough hill for Ajax to climb, but that's the most exciting matchup just based on name recognition alone. Probably, and I hate to say it because I'm wearing the jersey and I'm getting ready for our game against Sheffield later on today, probably the game of the day on Thursday is unfortunately going to be Arsenal at Slavia Prague. And I say unfortunately because Arsenal conceded a late goal to allow Slavia Prague to get the 1 away goal, making this a much trickier tie for Arsenal to navigate. Now, obviously, if they were to score a goal and go up 2-1 in the aggregate, things sort of take care of themselves, but it's certainly worth watching. What's really, really, really worth watching is the Lightning at the Panthers at 7 p.m. on Thursday. I talked to a good friend of mine who works for the Florida Panthers. The entire, let's call it Panthers Nation, or I think Panthers Territory is what they brand it as, is excited. They really feel, and they've been a good team for a couple of years now, they really feel that this is the chance for the Panthers to make some noise in the playoffs. The fan base is getting too excited, and they're going to have fans in the building to support them for a potential playoff run. The problem is that there's a high likelihood that they're going to run into the Lightning somewhere along the way. And as we know, the Lightning, as reigning champs and a very talented team, are a juggernaut who just improved their blue line even more to make it a strength of their team with the trade for Savard before the trade deadline here. So that's going to be one to watch. Those are 2 of the highest performing teams in the NHL so far this season, and they dropped the puck and face off against each other on Thursday. They're going to do it again on Saturday, but I'll note that when they get there because we got to cover Friday first. And Friday is a short one. This Friday, the main matchup that you'll want to tune into is at 3 p.m. Premier League action. It's getting tough. We've already covered, we're not even to the weekend, and we've already covered Champions League, Europa League. Now we're into Premier League action. 3 p.m. Tottenham at Everton. There are certainly European competition places at stake with that matchup. As we move into Saturday, we get into and this is why I love soccer or European football, because there's so much going on. On Saturday at 12:30, it's 2 English clubs, but this time it's the FA Cup at 12:30 on ESPN+. It's an FA Cup semifinal matchup, and this is a really good one. I sort of wish it was the final, but it's not. It's the semifinal, Man City v Chelsea. And for an American soccer fan, it's going to be one to watch because Pulisic has been red hot, and I think he's starting to win the trust and affections of Tuchel, the new manager. So we'll look for him to put a dent into Manchester City's hopes there in the FA Cup. Later on Saturday night, I teased it. This time it's the Panthers at the Lightning. That's going to be 2 games in 3 days, with both teams looking to prove a point as the playoffs start to loom. What's going to be interesting is later on Saturday night, how many people tune in. It is a $50 pay-per-view. It's with a company called Triller, Triller Fight Club. Again, a $50 pay-per-view. The main fight is scheduled for 9 p.m. It's going to be internet and YouTube star who does have a youth boxing background, Jake Paul, versus a UFC veteran by the name of Ben Askren. And I wanted to look into it because, in theory, at face value, can Jake Paul really compete with Askren? And what I found is that Askren in his UFC days was more known for ground and submission moves than he was as a stand-up basically throw fist type fighter. They actually say his hands are a little bit slow. So perhaps, just maybe, he is a master of promotion. Perhaps Jake Paul has picked the perfect partner for him to win and really add some credibility to his name as a boxer. So we'll see how many people tune into that one. I don't know that I will, but it's certainly worth noting that that's going to be happening on Saturday night. As we move into Sunday, there are some Premier League matchups, none especially noteworthy. So the first noteworthy sports TV action is at noon on NBC, the Capitals and the Bruins. At 1 o'clock, I told you I was going to make you wait all the way until Sunday for baseball. Rays v. Yankees. The Rays, I believe, are currently slated to let Yarbrough take the mound. The Yankees are scheduled to roll out Garrett Cole. So that should be an amazing matchup. Hopefully worth the wait for baseball fans who waited for a big matchup all the way until Sunday this week. At 1:30, FA Cup action, Southampton versus Leicester. That will also be on ESPN+. And I'm going to end it with a teaser this week because I do like to promote my website, www.themoderndodo.com. There's a lot of matchups that I've glanced over just because I'll talk myself out of breath here on my YouTube channel. But it's definitely worth looking at the schedule for Sunday because there's some really intriguing matchups in the NBA at 3:30, in the NHL at 6:30, and at 7 o'clock, actually 7:08 in MLB action. So check out my website to see exactly who those matchups are. I'm sorry to tease you, but I gotta do it because I am running out of breath. So whatever you choose to watch, enjoy your week ahead.